guys. Welcome to the Give It Podcast, the podcast for blurs, for nerds. If you have a fandom, you are most certainly welcome here. I'm your host of the most Black Spartan, of course, the man to my left, to your right, depending on how your screen is flipped, with insert comedy here. What do you have for us today, sir?
Confirmed to be appearing in Deadpool 3, Joe Tonello.
And together we are the Give It Podcast. Much like the WWE of old, guys, we do have choice language, although we don't cuss that much, but we do monitor ourselves.
So I have a question. If we're the WWE of old, does that mean I need to get coffee creamers in a fanny pack and just start magically producing them?
If you do it,
or since I'm Japanese, does that mean I need to just start getting powder and throwing it in faces?
I was gonna say, if you do the Macho Man Randy Savage, you have to do the entire gimmick.
Well, I mean, I'm not incoherent enough to be Ultimate Warrior and talk about spaceships.
Oh no! You gotta be on something. What Ultimate Warrior was on that time, nobody should be on.
What are you talking about? He was purely on the energy of the fans alone.
Yeah. Anyway,
that is the point of robbing Vince McMahon, but that's some high energy there.
Yeah, high, very high.
I know the pun I made.
I'm just gonna leave that. That's like a Family Guy moment. Yeah, but yes, there might be things that might be shown that might be too intense for younger viewers, so viewer discretion advised. Aside from that, welcome. All right, so on this wonderful beginning of summer weekend, because I hate summer, I'm a winter person. Give me the cold any day of the week. We do got some news. Did not expect this from DC, especially under the new since James Gunn's DC Studios will finally start since he said Blue Beetle, which we can't wait for that to come along, but that's not what we're talking about. We're actually talking about Suicide Squad getting an anime. Yes, you heard me right. There's actually a trailer for it. Nope, do not adjust it. That is exactly the name of it, guys. Suicide Squad Isekai is the teaser trailer that's been put out for it. From what the news that we've discovered about this is actually going to be a joint venture, with studios in Japan as they are doing this anime. And if you notice, if you start to get JoJo Bizarro Adventures of JoJo vibes, if you get a lot of over-the-top stuff, and you're probably wondering why Joker's a part of this, we are too. But as you can see, guys, they seem to be branching out. Now, honestly, first looks at this, I'm not against it. Again, this is a teaser. We're not really getting a lot of information here. I, for one, am a fan of Suicide Squad. I still say James Gunn was still a whole lot better than the Hollywoodized version. Because honestly, that's how we got Peacemaker. His success of Suicide Squad led to Peacemaker, which is also a great series if you haven't already seen it. But more will come out about this, I'm sure. But Joe, just from first impressions, what do you think about it?
Harley Quinn in another world where her mallet makes more sense than it does in standard scenarios.
Always with the mallet.
Also, Harley Quinn with dragons, actual dragons.
Yeah.
I'm also wondering if this is going to be an in-joke where she wakes up and we think it's an isekai and it just turns out she's in the subterranean world of Warlord.
Wouldn't be a bad idea, actually, but that'd be a hell of a twist. I don't know. I guess to me, it is so off that all we see is Harley and Joker. I'm like, well, if it's Suicide Squad, it's like, who's going to be the squad this time around? But again, it's a teaser trailer. I'm pretty sure more will come out as time goes along. But again, I just thought that was interesting. But speaking of things that are interesting, Joe actually got to see Asteroid City, a Wes Anderson movie, and if you ever seen a Wes Anderson movie, they're different. But Joe, just your impression, sir, on what you thought about Asteroid City.
Well, me and my friends just got back from seeing it literally 30 minutes ago. We all agreed this was more coherent than The French Dispatch. Look, it's a Wes Anderson film. That's a good critique.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
We understood about 80% of what was going on in this film at all times. All-star cast, fantastic, great job with Scarlett Johansson and playing opposite Jason Schwartzman, with some help from Tom Hanks. Quirky, nerdy, fun. I love Jeff Goldblum's surprise appearance. It makes absolutely no sense, but yet at the same time, it makes perfect sense because it's a Wes Anderson film.
I mean, he's Jeff Goldblum. You're just waiting for the random chain of strange thoughts that have nothing to do with each other.
No, that's pretty much it. That sums up the movie pretty well. I mean, I can't really describe the movie without spoiling the movie, but as I said, it's a Wes Anderson film. You know what you're in for if you're a fan of his. No, I definitely would say give it a shot, if anything.
Okay.
I just can't really go into it because I'm still trying to process most of it. It's like, well, what did it mean when he burnt his hand on the mini girdle that had lightning bolts?
Fair point. But no, I might give that myself a shot. But speaking of other movies, we can say this, guys. Ghostbusters 2 Afterlife. Now, of course, this isn't the title. Let's go ahead and stress this very heavily. It's not the title. Because right now the title is rumored to be Hell's Kitchen. We're not really sure. But what we do know is that Mr. Winston himself, Ernie Hudson, did confirm that the movie itself is officially done filming, which means that we might hear about an announcement and a potential release date. Now, keep in mind, what we do know is this is going to follow Ghostbusters Afterlife, which me and Joe have both said many months ago. It was a very well done, did have its nostalgia, did have its pops back from Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2. At the same time, was a very enjoyable movie. This does not take away from the all-female led cast of Ghostbusters. We have both said that the cast was perfect. Unfortunately, the script was not. That was the only problem with the other Ghostbusters. But this is actually great news because considering the fact that we are in the middle of a strike, you could say, between the writers and now the actors versus Hollywood. This does give us hope that we will see a sequel. But as long as the strike is going on, guys, unfortunately, it's going to put a lot of things on hold. Especially if you're like me, a lot of my shows that I'm looking forward to, like Amazon The Boys, season 4, it's on hold until the strike is done. So Hollywood, pay your writers. It's that freaking simple. But Joe, any thoughts on the announcement of the Ghostbusters sequel movie being done as far as filming?
I mean, I'm glad it's done filming. That means we don't have to deal with any of the writer's strike stuff. They need to be paid. But also it's good that we do avoid this because we are getting a fully finished product. They don't have to move around cautiously like Deadpool 3 is going to have to. Which we'll get to that in just a bit. As for its release date, when it comes out, it's going to come out when it comes out. I know they were looking for December, but because of everything going on in Hollywood, that may not happen. I mean, if it does get pushed down to spring, that's fine. I know with any luck, and that's a lot of luck on my part, hopefully I'll be able to at least attend the New York City premiere.
Nice.
That would be nice. I've never been to New York City, but I would very much like to go and say I've done a movie premiere in my lifetime.
Right.
With the rest of the Ghostbusters. Hopefully it does get pushed out into spring because that means I can wear my more spring-based ones. But, I don't mind being in my actual flight suit, even though my flight suit's all comic book-based.
So you're definitely there. But, it's funny that you bring up Deadpool because that brings up an interesting segue. Now, we have sat there and said, again, this was probably, I want to say 2 or 3 weeks ago, we sat there and said, Ben Affleck may be appearing as Daredevil in Deadpool 3. Now, keep in mind, Deadpool 3 already has, the one thing we've always wanted, Hugh Jackman reprising his role as Wolverine alongside Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool. It came at a time where we needed some good news because, trust me, that we were struggling that week, and that was just a wonderful bit of good news. However, it is also known now, we can report on this, that Jennifer Gardner will be reprising her role as Elektra. So what's so crazy about this is, for all those that don't remember, way back in 2003, Marvel was just how can we say this ever so nicely? They saw what happened with Blade, and they tried to reproduce this in other movies. This was actually the start of what you call the superhero movie era, I guess you can call it. Anyway, so 2003, you had Daredevil. Ben Affleck played Matt Murdock. The late Michael Clark Duncan played Kingpin. Colin Farrell played Bullseye. And the movie was, how can we put this ever so nicely? It's a cult favorite, but not a lot of people look on it very fondly, if that makes sense. Some people actually duck it out of their existence. What are you gonna say, Joe?
I mean, the director's cut was a little bit better, but that's like saying we're raising your F to a D, so
Yep. Hey, man. So Jennifer, multiverse. That's what we're getting to.
My thought is Deadpool is just going to go through and start killing all the multiverses until he finds a profitable universe for him to live in and just drags Wolverine along with him.
So we're going to get Deadpool kills the MCU.
No, Deadpool kills to get to the MCU.
That's going to be interesting. But
that is purely my thing, because I mean, I would love to see him just pop in, get through the Blade universe, run away from the Blade universe, get through the Daredevil universe, hop in the Lou Ferrigno Hulk universe.
See, that's what I think.
Nope his way out of the 1990 Captain America movie with the motorcycle helmet.
Oh.
Just sit there and do a walkthrough of the never released 94 McCormick 94 Fantastic Four movie.
See, this is what makes me think that Deadpool 3 is going to be how are we going to sum up Deadpool 3 is exactly what Nega Teenage Sonic Nuclear Warhead was saying at the end of Deadpool 2. What have I done? You gave him the ability to travel.
I think this is going to be lampooning the fact that we're using multiverse too much.
Yeah, it might be a knock on that. Vaughn says, "Joe, you're brilliant." You know what? I am not surprised. Illuminati culture. I'm not surprised though, because like you said, will this affect? Because the way this story is being told, it would have to be that way because the MCU is different from DC. They like to keep everything linear, and at the same time, they want to keep it in-house. Now, Deadpool will make fun of it, I'm sure of it, but the fact that we already know that Jennifer Gardner is going to be in it, Ben Affleck, let's be honest, is probably going to be in it. It makes you wonder, will Colin Farrell come back as Bullseye just for shits and giggles?
I mean, we've already seen him kill the other Deadpool in Deadpool 2.
Yeah. So it would be.
And technically, we've also seen him kill Ryan Reynolds as well.
Exactly.
And possibly Baby Hitler. They were hazy on that whole thing.
Very much so. But I'm just saying I think it'll be interesting because I want to see how they do Deadpool 3 and how to keep it. Because you can't consider it a what if unless they're saying it's what if. But like you said, Joe, he might be healing his way to the MCU to where he finds profit. It's possible.
This is not a what if. This is the other book from Marvel. This is a what the.
Yeah. Either way, it's going to be fun. But But moving right along, guys, I wanted to cover this as well because Diablo is one of those PC games that is near and dear to my heart. I haven't played it. I haven't played it in several years. I haven't played World of Warcraft in several years. But Diablo Immortal finally gave us the one thing I've always asked for: a different warrior class. It only took you 2 decades, and he's basically called a Blood Knight. Here's the trailer.
The darkness has always been with us. And humanity is right to fear it. The darkness wants to consume you and all you love. But my kind claim its power and wield it in defiance. Humanity is right to fear the darkness, but I am a Blood Knight, and the darkness fears me.
And I'm not mad about it. It just took y'all 2 decades to finally give us a different warrior class. So as you can see, guys, that's Blood Knight for Diablo Immortal. Will be released actually a week from now, July 13th. And of course, you can play Diablo, basically Diablo Immortal, on the App Store or on Google Play or on PC. But either way, I'm happy because finally a different warrior class. That's all we've been asking for. But
So
Joe,
Konami's not going to send a cease and desist order?
Nope.
For just straight ripping off Alucard?
Oh, it's all the way rip off. I'm not gonna argue. I'm not gonna lie about that. It is.
Also, by the way, I don't think Blood Knight's the correct thing. I think he's just the darkness.
Then you're gonna have Top Cow coming after you.
No, then you also got Top Cow and the band.
That is also true. That's a lot. That's a lot of lawyers. That's a lot of red tape. They may probably stick with Blood Knight. But yeah. But speaking of things, guys, Mortal Kombat has released things. Of course, Mortal Kombat 1 coming out. Has released a new trailer because we're seeing more playable characters, some fan favorites, especially in this case, because I did not think I would see these 2 characters coming. Also, it's Mortal Kombat, so you know there's going to be dismemberment. Enjoy.
The Lin Kuei is a centuries-old clan dedicated to Earthrealm's defense. I will need your help. The fate of the realms may depend on it.
I will emerge victorious. We settle for defending Earthrealm when we could help lead it.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. Whatever it takes, I am with you.
We may not share blood, but we are brothers. We will achieve greatness.
We can't abandon tradition.
The Lin Kuei, we have been expecting you.
Liu Kang sent you to learn our secrets. Rain will fall upon you like daggers from the sky.
A Lin Kuei's flame is not easily smothered.
Well, you cannot sit there and say that they did not skip out on the gore. But as you guys saw in that trailer, we did see more playable characters. You did see Smoke. You did see Rain. You saw Sector. You saw Cyrax. You even saw an old school Jax in the background. So Mortal Kombat 1 is shaping to be exactly what we hope it will be, since it is a soft reboot of the MK universe. But I'm just impressed. But Joe, any thoughts on that?
Well, they did a whole combat cast, and we get to see a whole bunch more stuff outside of that. We have updated character profiles.
Wow. Really, Vaughn? Really, Vaughn? Go ahead, Joe.
So many jokes I can make, none of them appropriate.
Never stop us, but go ahead.
No, these are jokes that I will not tell because they are that inappropriate. Back to the thing. No, the combat cast, this is fine. I'm kind of bummed that we took away Smoke's long flowing locks of hair that he's had since MKX, but oh well.
Yeah.
Rain being a wizard as opposed to a ninja kind of suits better and gives him more of a independent identity than the purple ninja.
Yeah.
They also expanded on a couple things. Johnny Cage has lost his ability to control chi. So he no longer has fireballs or green kick, shadow kicks, or anything like that. Instead, he has a new mechanic called the height meter, where you do taunts during moves or in between moves that build it up. And once you fill it and activate it, you can special cancel other specials.
They gave a drive meter on Mortal Kombat, but they called it.
No, it's more like what if Dan Hibiki fills up a gauge and can do a raging demon.
Fair enough.
The other fun thing, which is a wonderful Easter egg for all us kids watching Mortal Kombat on the USA Cartoon Express, one of his taunts is combat time. Yep. So they also gave out character bios. So we learned that Raiden and Kung Lao are neighbors from the same village. We learned that Sub-Zero and Scorpion are indeed brothers, and that as the younger brother, Scorpion is trying the best to hold the Lin Kuei to its tradition in the name of their father, but Sub-Zero, it's like, Bihan will always be Bihan. Even when he's a good guy, he's not the best of guys.
Pretty much.
He wants to move beyond his father visions and be more proactive than defensive.
Yeah.
We also learned that Melina and Katana are actually twins again in this, are actually twins, as opposed to Melina being a dark experiment, and that Melina is actually the older sister And Tarkatans like Baraka are actually a disease in this universe.
I like that.
Which is apparently a genetic mutation, which Melina is afflicted with.
Yeah.
Which gives her Tarkatan appearance. So if that ever gets out, she has to forsake the throne, and Katana gets it. And Katana's like the more chill. Well, Katana's always been the more chill of the two.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, like Katana's like, no, I don't want the throne. And Melina's constantly, you're always trying to take the throne. And, it's the standard back and forth between them. But, it's interesting things we get to see new dynamics on old characters because Liu Kang's trying his best to make this world the most chill place ever and stuff still can't stay chill.
I'm sorry. It's still in my head. It's still in my head. But no. But yeah, I like the fact that a lot of things did get tweaked with this universe as it should be, but I really gotta hurry up and get a PS5 or Xbox Series X. I can't wait to play it. But speaking of things that have been played, because Lucky Joe got to play this, I am still waiting to play this myself, but he can give his opinion on it. I am talking about AEW Fight Forever. Was released, guys, a week ago. All Elite Wrestling, if you haven't been watching it, number one, you really should. It's a very good thing to watch, whether it's Dynamite, Collision, or Rampage, or Dark Elevation's kind of gone away now since they went to Collision. But anyway, this is their first intro into the video games. Of course, as you can see, Kenny Omega was probably one of the biggest people behind it because if you don't know who he is a very accomplished gamer himself, along with Ukes that actually created AEW. Why does Ukes sound familiar? Because they're the same group, they're the same company that was behind WCW NWO Revenge, as well as Nintendo's WWF No Mercy. So, Joe, you got to play AEW Fight Forever. What'd you think about it?
Real quick, while I talk about this, do you want to pull up the Stadium Stampede trailer?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So got to play this in my buddy Phil's house. There are some balancing issues, I will say that. We did a match where we pretty much just let me beat on Kenny Omega in the deathmatch ring, and Kenny got like a single move off and then pinned me, despite the fact that he took the beating the majority of the match. So there are some very harsh balancing issues. If your character has a lot of hair, the hair still looks like it's from this Nintendo 64 era. I think that was done on purpose, but still very fun. I wish the customization was a little bit better. I would have been able to like some more outrageous characters. You can still make some pretty out there things in the Create a Wrestler, but like, I feel there are certain staples in Create a Character that you should always be able to make, and they weren't there, as well as other wrestlers, but I'm sure there'll be DLC down the road because I believe AEW says they don't want to do annual releases. They just want to do fight season passes and build the roster that way.
Well, that's what the buddy is. I just want locks for my Create Wrestler. That's all I want. I want either locks or close to it, because apparently with all our technology, we still cannot get locks on create characters. That's just my right.
I know Keith Lee's next, but I really want Willie Mack to be in there soon.
He should be. But
Have you seen his new promo he did?
That
man's a legend. I've met him before. He's a sweet guy, but that promo is a legendary promo.
That it is. And speaking of promos, I did find the Stadium Stampede for AEW Fight Forever.
Reach for the sky. Full flex on your dreams. Race it to the top. Show the world what it means. Tackle any obstacle that's put in front of me. Throw your hands in the air if you're riding out with me. Spotlight is on now. This moment is mine. Reach for the sky.
I am not mad about that, but only in a wrestling game can you ride a horse in a match and decide to use a t-shirt bazooka. And I am so jealous you got to play it. But overall, what do you think?
Fortnite looks weird these days.
Say what?
Fortnite looks weird these days.
he kind of get used to it after a season. But overall, what did you think of Fight Forever?
No, like I said, I enjoyed it. It's just there are very obvious balance issues, and they really got to do something about the hair. Like, I understand you have limitations because this is your first game, but the hair on your character should not look like it's still the Nintendo 64 hair.
But it was such a staple, though. It never moved.
Also, I wonder how much of their money went to budgeting some songs, because Jungle Boy's song is a actual like song, not wrestling music. The last time I heard that song, it was the soundtrack to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3.
Well, it's also in the same case as Bryan Danielson. You can't use Europa, but only a few times. They use the final countdown. They use the final countdown at Forbidden Door.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, I thought he still kept Flight of the Valkyries.
Well, they did, but because his initial one was the final countdown, and Tony Khan had sat there and said it is a lot of money to use that song. So I'm like, I can only imagine because it's used everywhere. That group still gets dividends, but no, I wouldn't be surprised just because certain wrestlers have certain intros. I mean, not everybody could be a Seth Rollins. I mean, when the intro is the crowd, that man got over by the crowd, and Jericho.
Now that's Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh no, Seth got over with just the crowd. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not against Shinsuke Nakamura. I love his intro. I will never get away from that intro. It's just like Robert Roode when he had Glorious. That was a beautiful thing, and they got away from it. But that's neither here nor there. But I can't wait to play Fight Forever. I just have to get a next-gen console to do so. But with that being said, before we get to our next video game trailers, Secret Invasion. I
called it.
You did call it, and I can't be mad. And yes, we are going to talk about what's been going on so far. If you have not seen Secret Invasion and you're still intending on watching the most up-to-date episode, you might want to mute us or come back to us in a few minutes because we're going to talk about it. Because it is obvious that where they're going with this is the creation of the Super Skrulls. That the fact that they're wanting to do it, the fact that Talos may have gotten his daughter 86th.
The fact that they literally said Super Skrulls this episode.
Yeah, the fact that Super Skrulls was actually said. And at the same time, Nick is married. Fury is married.
To a Skrull.
To an actual Skrull who also may be with the enemy. So for this to be episode 3, and we still got 3 more episodes to go, wow. I am loving this level of storytelling. But
I like how other more high-end comic book people were talking about how Emily Clark's character was midway through this series going to replace Gravik. It's like, nah.
I don't think so.
Because they were expecting to be the Lyja or Lyra character, the one who's the Skrull Queen, Skrull Princess / Skrull Empress.
Yeah.
In the comics. No, that went right out the window this episode.
But
she ain't coming back. She ain't going to be in Rush Hour 3.
But I will say this, though. This is why I sit there and say, and I said this previously, Rhodes is a Skrull. Because it was the funny part where you see Samuel L. Jackson tell Talos, no one ever calls me Nick. And if you think about the previous episode where Rhodes sat there and said, Nick, look, you're gonna have to go this route. I'm like, and then they said there's a Skrull high up in the US government. I'm like, so Rhodes is a Skrull. Which again, it's not confirmed. That's just my theory on this. That knowing who and who, because so far the only Skrulls we've seen are the ones that are in prominent heads of state. And then one, let's be honest, one Fox-esque news anchor. That's the best way to put that.
I was kind of waiting for like a ship to open up and Terrence Howard step out, and he's supposed to be the Rhodey Skrull and gets it wrong.
Would that be funny as all got the whole time?
Well, they do legitimately say that when he wrecks his car in Iron Man 1 trying to take out Ironmonger, he had to have facial reconstruction surgery from the crash. which explains why Terrence Howard is now Don Cheadle. So I would have laughed my butt off if, like, a door opens up and Terrence Howard comes out, and that's because the Skrulls only have the file of Brody prior to the crash.
Oh, that would be funny as hell. That would
we've seen where the Skrulls are like getting people in their memory. So
yeah,
Terrence Howard is sitting there in a pod the whole time. That would be hilarious. I would love that.
Next time, baby, 20 years later. That would be funny as all get out. But
last online 20 years ago.
But no, overall, though, Secret Invasion, it just, to me, I know a lot of people are like, but it's so boring. Well, no, it's
You've never seen an actual spy movie before, have you?
I mean, I put it this way. It's the same way it's like Star Wars Andor. I love Star Wars Andor. But for a lot of people, but a lot of people who are so used to certain movies, we should say, you know, it's just the whole thing about Fury. Fury is a spy. Yes, he's considered a quote unquote hero, but he is a spy master. His whole world is lies and shadows and, you know, not trusting anybody. So of course, this is going to fit with him.
What everybody's wanting is 007. What they're getting is Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, an actual spy movie.
Pretty much. Because that's the thing that I just don't get. It's like this is supposed to be, and for all intents and purposes, this is supposed to be a longer telling story that they're doing in 6 episodes. So the fact that we're getting this much and it's only in episode 3 is to me is very well done. So I can't knock it. I got questions. I don't think Khaleesi made it personally because Gravik was playing chess. Because he sat there and said, there's a mole among us. And I'm just thinking to myself, please don't take the bait. Please don't take the bait and call your dad and call Talos and be like, this is a setup. Only to have him at the end. Only a true villain is at the end of the road waiting for you like, where you going? we had to flesh out the mole. And here you are. I was like, that's a true villain right there. That to me, I couldn't knock. But again, solid episode. I cannot knock it. Anything else you want to add to it, Joe?
No, like I said, it was a good episode. I liked the twist ending. They really don't mind killing off the bigger cast members because, like I said, this is an actual spy movie.
Yeah.
Where you can get comfortable with your character and then they're off the same episode. This is not a James Bond. This is not where you're going to get a big dramatic sequence with lots of exposure. Like, no, people are just quietly, you love them, they'll develop them, and then they'll quietly kill them off to further the plot. Man, and how? Some people get their feelings hurt. But really quickly, guys, I'm not going to go too much into this, but I will say this. This is one of the other things that James Gunn did announce about a month back or so that just now hit Adult Swim and Max. I am basically talking about My Adventures with Superman. If you have not seen it, let me just go ahead and tell you, it's very well worth it. The first 2 episodes are actually available right now on Max or on Adult Swim or however you watch it. But overall, the first 2 episodes, I like the direction they are going with Superman. It is definitely non-traditional, but at the same time, they're trying to keep it more modernized. They're trying to, in a way, give a year 1 Superman that really is on the same lines as Superman and Lois. I'll put it that way. That's how I compare the writing. The writing on that is similar to the CW Superman and Lois, which if you know Superman and Lois on CW, it is a very well-written show. After watching 2 episodes of My Adventures with Superman, I am fully convinced they've got the direction now where they want to go on this. But I will leave it at that. I would highly recommend that, if you guys want to give it a watch, you should, especially if you're like me, you're a Superman fan, and at the same time, you're kind of wanting DC studios to go in different directions, but that's going into a whole other rant. But at least enjoy My Adventures with Superman. I think it is honestly a good watch. So I will leave it at that. But the one thing I will go into because I do have one question about this series.
Oh, shoot.
Does it need to be on Adult Swim, or was it just put there because that's the only spot they had for it?
It was the only spot they had for it.
Okay, so this is not like overtly adult humor Superman. This is just, we put it there because we couldn't find another spot on Cartoon Network for it at the moment.
It could damn near go on Nick Jr.
Okay.
This
is just one of those things I was like, why Adult Swim?
Because you know what's the action level is I'll put it this way, the action level is the same as Young Justice. That's it.
Okay.
That's really it. Aside from that, it could honestly go. I think that just because Adult Swim was available, that was it. It could go literally anywhere else. That's just my opinion, though.
Okay.
But I think, like I said, I think it's great. And if you have seen it, guys, let us know in the comments what you think. But yeah, Street Fighter 6, because Joe stays on the sticks. Literally, this man works his hands to the bone.
No, I broke my hands to the point where they swell. There's a difference.
But
I am now gold rank. I am now a high level mid rank fighter.
Nice. I never get up. I gotta get a next gen console.
My Manon is coming along lightly. Every time an Idon video comes out, I watch it and goes like, I can do that. And then I can't do it. But then I figure it out after 18 matches later.
Hey, it's all about when you figure it out. But as Street Fighter 6 guys moving along and is really getting nothing but high praise from a lot of people, because it's already I think it's been around now about June, July, so it's a little over a month now. We are getting new news of new characters being released, and this trailer is definitely a favorite back from Street Fighter 5.
Now then, you ready for this? Do this, this, and this. It's easy as pie. Kiss the ground. Dang, I'm good. Welcome to the stream. Sky I love it. I summoned you. Great Desert Storm. Oh yeah. Last resort. Come here. Here comes Rashid for your viewing pleasure. And cut. Hope the camera got my good side. Easy win. Whoop, this feels awesome. You should try it.
And as you can see, guys, that is Rashid, which he will be unlocked to. I want to say if he isn't already unlocked already, he will be. He was a favorite from Street Fighter 5. I did not expect him to be in this game. I really did not. But Joe, any thoughts on Rashid being back in 6?
I'm of two minds of this because really I'm not that thrilled with Rashid being back because I feel it's too soon to get a Street Fighter 5 character that quickly, considering we just came off of 5. I would have preferred either a new fighter or someone from 3 like Makoto or Remy or Q or Necro, stuff like that. I want them to bring characters that are not usually back in fighting games back, even like Maki from CVS 2. Continue some of the Final Fight stuff since we're so entrenched in Final Fight. Heck, bring in Brian Hagar. That's to prove that Hagar's not dead in this time. However, that being said, I think the thing I'm most fascinated with is not how he fights. It is the quality of animation to the way he moves. Yeah. And what they accomplished with the RE engine, because his jacket that's tied off, it does not clip through him at all. Like those sleeves move and bounce and move with the wind he generates flawlessly. And that kind of gorgeous animation makes me hopeful for characters down the road. Now, the character I do want to see is a new character, which is coming out in the fall, which is Aki, which I think is a newer version of Fang, but less goofy, more poison. We know she's poison based, but a less goofy looking version of Fang.
Gotcha.
And maybe Ed, because if they're going to be able to do this with Rashid, Lord only knows what they're going to be able to do with Ed.
Fair point.
Unless they screw us over and Ed gets taken over by the spirit of Bison.
Yeah. Also, let me correct myself, guys. Rashid will be unlocked if you have the year 1 character pass, July 24th.
So the other thing, sorry, I didn't interrupt. If you're playing Street Fighter and you want to try out Rashid before you buy him, you have the fight tickets from getting all the kudos and playing the Battle Hub and playing rental mode. You can actually rent him for an hour using fight tickets. Try him out and see if you want to buy him.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you can actually get fight tickets to where you can do a try before you buy scenario.
Yes, it's similar to how we could buy DLC characters via Fight Money in Street Fighter V.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which, I mean, that's how I got Alex. I didn't get any other DLC character, but I got Alex that way for free.
Man, I grinded a lot on Fight Money to get a lot of those characters instead of buying the DLCs. But that's good to know, though, because again, I'm just so jealous. I need to just need to go ahead and bite the bullet and get this, but I have a wedding to pay for. But anyway,
Just get Street Fighter 4 on PlayStation 4. It's crossplay.
I have that, but it's just like I want to be where the people are, sir.
People are there because it's crossplay.
Yeah, but I want to be on 6. I want to.
No, but that's what I'm saying. 6 is crossplay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So if you get it on PlayStation 4, you still can play with us.
Yeah, but it's not the same. I'm picky. I'm weird like that. I'm weird. I can't do.
I don't have my glasses. I can go squintier. I can go full Brock.
You can. That I don't doubt, but you can. But no, I'm weird. I have to play 6. It's like if it's new, I have to play. That's just me. I know it's a weird way of explaining myself. But
I'm gonna go get a frying pan here in a moment.
That being said, guys, being that it's the summer, and this kind of ties into what we're going to talk about next, because it is the summer, animes are coming out. Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 has already released. The first episode's on Crunchyroll. By tomorrow, Bleach 1,000 Year Blood War will begin the part 2 of its Season 1 tomorrow as well. So, I did not have this on my bingo card. What do you say, Vaughn? I want a 5. Me too. Look at my hands like Booker T.
What does he mean he wants a 5?
PS5.
Oh, okay.
He said PS5. I knew what he meant. He said I want a PS5. But with that being said, guys, like I said, summer animes are coming out. The ones that I can think of, because I'm the one I'm looking forward to, because I know Joe has a bunch of anime recommendations. I know for me, besides Jujutsu Kaisen, besides Bleach 1,000 Year Blood War, Sandland, just because that came out and I've never heard of it. And I have to try Sandland. I have to watch Sandland once that comes out, because that's getting an anime. It's made by the same guy that created Dragon Ball, so that should be interesting in itself. But Joe, before we go into the Mobile Suit Gundam, did you have any animes that you recommend for the summer, sir?
So Sandland's a film and it's not coming out till August 18th, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's like I was super confused. Like, how is he watching Sandman now? That's not due out for a month.
No, that's it. No, it won't be till August, but that's the ones I'm looking forward to. That's like I said, I don't really have a lot of anime suggestions for the summer, because all of mine are going back. All of mine have actually been pushed back, because now Fire Force won't come out to the fall. So
that's pretty much the same for me. I've only been able to check out a few. Of course, there's going to be isekai in this thing. There's just no escaping that genre. They tried to follow up the Tenchi GPX, where his cousin now has his own harem. I got through halfway through an episode. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why Tenchi has a kid. I'm bowing out of that already. I mean, it's not that it's bad. It's just I have no idea what's going on anymore in that series.
Fair.
There's a second Ryuoki apparently. Like, there's too much for me.
Okay.
The first one I'm checking out is The Great Cleric. Salaryman dies and gets reincarnated as a cleric, and apparently healers in this world through the Cleric's Guild have become corrupt because they realize, oh, I can charge what... Basically, they become the American medical system, where they charge whatever they feel like. I say this is working for the American medical system.
Damn.
So this guy is going to single-handedly bring about the restoration of the Cleric Guild by not charging everybody a literal arm and a leg to heal an arm and a leg.
Okay.
And that's pretty much just going to be thing. I think it'll be more fun to watch it if you're a healthcare worker, because you're like, well, this and that one episode of Bluey Plain Hospital is right on the nose.
It's going to hit a little too close to home. A little too close to home.
It will for some, but we'll just leave that one at that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're into more wholesome slice of life, this is still an isekai, but I need something wholesome because there's a lot. Because I just come home from things. Reborn as a vending machine, and now I wander the dungeon. This is all an actual title. Dude dies and gets reincarnated as a vending machine in another world where it's kind of set up like the world system is set up like Sword Art Online, where it's different biomes, but it's one big dungeon.
Okay.
But he just exists as a vending machine, and it's just a slice of life thing with him and the friend he made who brought him to a village. Again, this is slice of life stuff, so I need kind of a palate cleanser. It's wholesome. I don't have to worry about anything going horrifically wrong. Terrible things happening, blood and guts. I have Jujutsu Kaisen for that if I need it. If I just want something light and something I wanted to kill time with before I have to drive to work, I can watch this.
Although I was cussed out. Not to cut you out, I was cussed out because I told somebody about Food Wars, but I gave them a warning.
So if you want to watch a slice of life, which is a new genre coming out called cooking anime, and you don't want to get in trouble with parents, you watch. I
gave a warning.
using my cooking skills in another world is a good one. There's also another one getting ready to come up called Cooking in a Dungeon, which is another cooking thing. Now, cooking anime, the cooking genre, is anime that uses actual recipes that you in the real world can do just by watching what the anime does. They will sometimes even tell you the measurements of what to do.
So it's kind of like going along with it if you want to try it out.
Yeah, it's similar to Kamen Rider Kabuto, where at the end of every episode, they'll give you the actual recipe of like, here's what Tendo made this episode. Here's how you make it.
Oh, I miss Sesame Chicken. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
So there's that. We also got Reign of the Seven Spellblades. This is just a pure fantasy, no isekai. Magical Academy Shenanigans. Except these are dark shenanigans where it's very serious and whatnot. Meanwhile, opposite of that, the other season of Magic vs. Muscle Muscle, which actually ended properly in the manga, will continue. So if you want to see how much a workout can beat a spellcaster, how much a gym rat can beat out a spellcaster, that's still going on.
Oh, stop. Not to interrupt you for a second. Vaughn, to answer your question, Food Wars. You're welcome. But go ahead, Joe.
Sure. We also got the reboot of Rurouni Kenshin. Now, Will and I will probably watch this, but we will feel very awkward about watching this. This is a scenario where you can enjoy the work, do not enjoy the writer, because the writer has been brought up on felony charges in Japan over less than ideal hard drive content. We'll leave it at that.
Pretty much.
So that kind of taints the work of Rurouni Kenshin.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you'll have to be the judge yourself if you're going to be able to.
If you can separate yourself from
from artists, then you're good to go. Because I feel if this does well, we will. So no, there are parts of Kenshin that still actually do need to be told. And I think this is the only way we're going to be able to get that one arc that was never told.
I guess. I mean, you're right. You're
never.
Right.
I think the only way they've adapted it is in the live action.
Yeah, you're right. You're
right. So there's that, and then Atelier Ryza, The Ever Darkness and the Secret Hideout. This is an anime adaptation of the Atelier Ryza video game trilogy. This is going to be covering the first game in its entirety. I was a big fan of it. It was super fun. This is also, I want to say, one of the first Atelier, and I'll probably horribly wrong on this, but I believe this is the first Atelier series to actually get a proper anime adaptation. This is also the first of the Atelier series to get full 3 games. I think they mostly stop at 2, but this is just about a girl and her friends going on adventures and learning her skills as an alchemist while unlocking the long hidden secrets of her island that eventually expand towards the whole world and dealing with parallel dimensions and other things. But I still recommend it because I was a big fan of the series. Hopefully this translates well into the anime. Combat system is a little rough, but once you get the hang of it, it's a lot of fun. But yeah, like I said, outside of Jujutsu Kaisen and all the other stuff, it's just going to be what it is. Oh, also, big shout out, if you are not aware, they have put all the Dragon Ball movies.
Woohoo!
All the Dragon Ball Z movies from Dead Zone to Wrath of the Dragon. As of today, they have put on Resurrection F and Broly. But it's very oddly numbered. Season 17 is Resurrection F and season 20 is Broly.
Yeah.
So but 14 is Wrath of the Dragon. So I guess 15 is Yo, Son Goku and friends are back, and 16 is the one introducing Beerus. I forget the name of it.
So Super Saiyan God?
Yeah, they haven't put those 2 on yet. I don't know what is 18 and 19. If
that's Super Saiyan God, wouldn't 18 and 19 be the Tournament of Power?
No, there was no movie for Tournament of Power.
Oh, so they're not going by. Oh,
yeah. So, these are just flat out movie. These are the movies.
Oh, then in that case, well,
I have no idea what's going on there. Also, Dragon Ball Super.
Damn it. If it's not Brawly, it's not Golden Frieza. It's shoot. I know it'll come to me later, but go ahead. It'll come to me later what that title is.
Also, I believe Dragon Ball Superhero should be coming to that soon too. But yeah, we have all the old school Dragon Ball movies. I do want to say I don't think they got like the Blu-ray rips and put on there.
Probably not.
Some of it is original quality. It is only subbed. I am okay with that. I mean, the original Japanese score is in there. I did get around to watching the Super 13 movie and Fusion Reborn. They did do the mild editing with Fusion Reborn, but they kind of need to because
but you gotta
Gotenks takes on Hitler.
But you gotta admit, Crunchyroll dropped a check to get all those Dragon Ball movies.
Yeah, they like I said, they still got to put in Battle of Gods and Superhero. And I guess Yo, Son Goku and friends. I'd have to see what the other seasons are.
But yes, like Joe said, if you have Crunchyroll, it is definitely available. And also, if you've never been introduced to the Dragon Ball movies, if you, like I said, for a lot of people, they probably got introduced around the Namek saga. You either got introduced around the tournament, or you probably got introduced in Super when you saw Goku go Ultra Instinct for the first time. No matter your entry, welcome. But at the same time, definitely go back and watch the DBZ movies. There were a lot of great ones. Some of them were okay. Some of them were really good.
There's Bio Brawly.
Some of them were okay. Some of them were okay. But
none of them are canon.
That's true. None of them are canon. But yes, if you do have Crunchyroll, you can definitely watch all the Dragon Ball movies. I think Superhero will eventually be added. Again, Dragon Ball Superhero was actually very good, by the way. Crunchyroll powered up to write that check. You are not lying, because that was not cheap to get all those movies. Just because I forgot who owns the Dragon Ball IP, but to get that on Crunchyroll is a pretty penny. That's all I'm saying. Really, Vaughn. Crunchyroll power to get that check. But with that being said, Joe, any other summer anime recommendations we have, sir, before we go on?
No, not summer. We got other stuff coming down the road, but you know.
Yeah, because my favorite animes won't be here till winter, so there's that. But we do want to talk about this one because me and Joe are both Gundam fans. I today found out that there was a second season of Iron Blooded Orphans. Kind of mad at myself because it was there for the world to see, and I did not know. Yes, Joe, don't make that face. I did not know.
Wait, are you talking about the OVAs dealing with this kid, or are you talking about the actual second season?
The actual second season is available on Hulu right now.
Oh, okay, because they also got the OVAs somewhere where it's dealing with this kid.
On Crunchyroll.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I was like, I had found this out before our podcast started because a friend of mine, along with me and Joe, we're all heavy Gundam fans. And I always sit there and said, you know what? It was all I understand that some Gundam runs were just one shots. And I had mentioned Iron Blooded Orphans, and then my friend goes, "You do know there was a second season, right?" No. And proceeded to show me, and I'm like, I was today years old when I realized there was a second season of Iron Blooded Orphans, which was still one of my favorite Gundams. But anyway.
By the way, before we get into this new one, which ended fantastic. Mm-hmm. The only part me and my little sister talked about which we found like really goofy, like for no reason, they really shoehorned in that satellite cannon for no reason.
I'm sorry. I was listening to you, but every time I think about the Witch from Mercury, I just go.
Oh yeah, no, the slap's there, but we also like joked about it, and you know, it's like she brought it up perfectly. It's like you realize they took out that satellite can with rainbow sparkles.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
it's
man.
like just to shut out military battle. They took it out in the most girly fat way possible.
That was still funny, but yes. Also, another recommendation as well: the Witch from Mercury, which is available on Crunchyroll. Highly recommend.
5 episodes.
If you haven't yet to see it, highly recommend it. Of all the Gundam series, especially aside from the one we're about to talk about, I'm sorry, the teaser trailer about to show for it. But yes, if you have not seen the Witch from Mercury on Crunchyroll, highly recommend it. But
if you want random Tanuki noises from your favorite girl, who is also one of the tallest Gundam pilots in all the franchise, you go have some fun. It is a lot of fun.
Oh man. Okay, we got to get this before I break out laugh, before I really laugh to the point I start crying. So anyway, Mobile Suit Gundam does have a new series coming out called Mobile Suit Gundam Requiem for Vengeance, and here's the trailer for it.
Red Wolves, prepare to drop.
So that was the teaser trailer for, as you can see, Mobile Suit Gundam Requiem for Vengeance. Looks like it is being made with Unreal Engine 5, which looks freaking beautiful. Now, for a lot of you probably wondering, what's it about? Because you probably saw the UC0079. That means that for all those that have ever watched Gundam or just unsure what that is during the time of the 1 Year War. That was actually during the first Gundam anime. Now, this actual series will be focusing on the European front during the 1 Year War at that time. So here's the reason why you kind of see the Zaku, you see the Zeon mobile suit Zaku too, and you also see the Federation mobile suit, the Gundam Federation mobile suit, or will see it actually, I should say, because that's going to become available as well. So these are going to get streamed. There's not a release date on that yet, but definitely check out the official Gundam YouTube channel for more information. But overall, if that is the teaser trailer, dude, I am in. But Joe, you got any thoughts on it?
I actually have a whole load of information about it.
Go for it.
So there will be a total of 6 episodes. They will be 30 minutes apiece, which will be streaming worldwide. As I mentioned, this will be the European front during the 1 Year War. The story will be centering on Arya Sodari, and the mecha, which will be the Zaku 2, and a version of the Gundam. There is, during the latter part of the 1 Year War, the Federation was able to mass produce, as we've seen in M08 MS Team, different variants of the Gundam. We have the ground Gundam from 08 MS Team. If you played Zeonic Front, which happens around this time, we'll see Gundam Suit 4 and 5, which were meant for long range and short range. Gundam Unit 6, which was a Sandrock. This potentially will be Gundam Unit 7. We are unsure, but we do have spec pictures and a full-on picture of it.
All right.
We have the director is Erasmus Brosdu. That is his name. Australian actress Celia Messingham from DC's Legend Tomorrow and Leaves in Black will be voicing the lead character, as well as performing motion capture for the animation. Staff at Sunrise and Save House producing the animation entirely with Epic Games Unreal Engine 5. Gavin High-Knight from Tekken Bloodline, Transformers Cyberverse, Star Wars Resistance, and Marvel's Spider-Man game is writing the series, along with German artist and director, series director Erasmus Bordeaux. Original Zero, Warhammer 40K, The Lord's Inquisitor, and Seeds of Ambition is once again directing the project. Now Hiro Ogata from Mobile Suit Gundam Witch from Mercury and Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt and High Knight are serving as executive producers, with Hiroaki Yura is producing. Character designs will be done by Manuel Gusto. Dischinger Mora is the lead character designer, and Kimitoshi Yamane, who worked on Cowboy Bebop, Escaflowne, and multiple Gundam projects, is going to be mechanical design supervisor. Wilbert Rajet II will be from Mortal Kombat 11. Call of Duty, Lara Croft, and the Temple of Osiris games will be composing the music. So we got quite a bit of production info, staff info. I don't know if she is going to be the only voice actor on this, but that's a possibility, but I doubt it. I'm sure there'll be other things. What else did Kimitoshi Yamane? He said he worked on multiple Gundam projects.
I think that sounds familiar, though.
Gundam Rikugusta in G. Okay. Now he's been okay, so he's been a mechanical designer for G Gundam, Hathaway's Fastback, MS Igloo, Gundam Seed.
So he's popular.
Most current item, Dawn's Island, 08 MS Team. He's the mechanical advisor and key animator for episode 10. If you don't know what episode 10 is, that's the Easy 8 versus Goof custom fight episode. What else has he done? 08 MS Team, Gundam The Origin, Overman King Gainer, Spriggan, the Yamato 2199 movie.
Spriggan was really good. I like Spriggan.
Golf Force, City Hunter, Bubblegum Crisis.
So the man's popular.
The man knows how to design machines.
Apparently. So no, I'm looking forward to it. I just got more information. More information on Requiem for Vengeance. Again, is going to be interesting. And I have a date with the second season of Iron Blood Orphans. But really, that's all the news that I got. Joe, do we have anything else before we go into comics?
So we got one thing we're going to talk about that this is going to lead into comics. So, Night Terrors. Yeah, so Night Terrors, they released something back during Free Comic Book Day, and I didn't really pay too much attention to it because Night Terrors is a current event where it's a DC horror event going through July and August. So at the time, we thought Night Terrors was going to be running concurrently to DC. It is not. It is replacing the entire DC comic book line from July through August, meaning all of our titles are being put on hold. We're getting one-shots of every single person's dreams for at least 2 issues, and then in September, DC starts back up again. I'm not buying any of this, and I'm going to save some money by not buying DC Comics for a whole 2 months. I mean, you know,
I'm sorry. I was gonna say go on Twitter. Response level is it's comical to me, but I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
I mean, sure, I may check out Nightwing because Nightwing is consistently good. I'm sure the team will be doing it, but you know, I don't care about the dreams of Punchline or Angel Breaker, who I've never heard of, or Ravager, or half these people. I mean, the Joker's going to be funny because it's just Joker in a mundane office job, so I'm sure that's going to play out like an episode of The Office.
Close.
I mean, if anything, maybe I'll check out the ones I'm getting, but I do not have enough interest in this to buy everything to check out the full story, and I'm not going to be collecting this. And tomorrow I plan on telling my comic shop, hey, hold the DC books for me until September.
I mean, I'm not against it. They want to do something different. And again, this is kind of putting the cart before the horse because I did read a lot of the first chapters of the ones that are released. And I was just talking to Joe about this when the podcast started. I was like, you know what? I like what they did with some. Others were, you know, I'm not saying it was a cash grab. Technically, because I thought Night Terror was going to really focus around a certain set of superheroes. I didn't think they were going to go ahead and take over the entire DC comic book front. But that's why I'm thinking DC may have slightly messed up in that. Because like I was telling Joe, Twitter is a very dark place, but at the same time, you find out the actual truth about what some people feel about comic book runs, and man, you guys might have Night Terrors ending a little bit early. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, it's also just a bad look for DC, in my opinion alone, because we are literally on issue 2 for a lot of this Dawn of DC imprint, which is their new lineup, and then you're putting it full on breaks until September for essentially a line-wide event without the line being there.
Pretty much.
Like, there's no active Ravager book. There's no active Angel Breaker book. There's no active Punchline book. There's no active Zatanna book. But you're going to put everything else on hold just for this one thing. And, you know, I just can't agree with that. I mean, if it's not going to be an active part of Dawn of DC, which I'm sure maybe it'll have some repercussions for, like, the bigger titles like Batman and the big 3, but like in the grand scheme of things, I don't care about nightmares.
But that's the thing about it. It should have really just been an event that doesn't take over the current universe.
Oh yeah,
that's where it should have been. It should have just been an event, and that's what makes me think. The simple fact of the matter, it's like you guys have a lot of faith that a lot of people are going to be able to take this and run with it. And I'm just thinking to myself, well, you're first of all, you're betting big on, I'm not going to say the not popular characters because every reader has their favorites, but I don't see a lot of screaming outcries and demands for Punchline or for Ravager or for Black Adam. I simply don't see it. But in my case, it's like you should have stuck with what you're going to do. Well, I thought you were going to do. I thought you were going to stick with a certain set of heroes. I thought you were going to stick with Superman. You're going to stick with Batman or Wonder Woman or Green Lantern. Or just a certain select 6. I would even say give 6 books. Do 6 books around these characters, but make it a one-time event. But the fact that you're halting everything else, you have a lot of faith that Night Terrors is going to pick up the slack. I just don't think it's going to happen.
So I looked at this, and let's say every issue is $5 a piece.
Uh-huh.
I'm saving $230 over the next 2 months.
Yeah. But we'll see. I still say it's a gamble that DC's running right now, but DC is the one thing DC's never scared of. They're never scared of gambling. I just don't think it's going to come out in their favor. But
well, I will always remember this quote: "If it was a calculator risk, man, am I bad at math."
You're not kidding there. But anything else we have, sir, before we move on to comics?
No, let's go to comics so we can actually talk about at least the very first part of Night Terrors before we just completely write it off.
I don't want to write it off just because I want to see. Well, like I said, I'll explain as we get to that.
Well, here's the thing: if you enjoy Joker,
yeah,
congrats, you got a whole month before you get to read issue 2.
That sounds about right. Because it really wasn't. It really, to me, it was because I was wondering how they would do Joker, but I'm like, you can only go 2 ways with Joker. And technically, the animated series already went one way, and they told a beautiful story behind it. If you guys have never seen Batman the animated series, there was an episode where the Joker was having his own nightmare, but in that nightmare, he was basically sane, and it messed with him.
The irony is that the same Joker is now the Joker of Harley Quinn.
Yeah. That's the wild part.
Or he is the Joker, but at the same time, he is a proud, responsible parent, a member of the Gotham PTA.
Oh, White Knight Joker, or
in the HBO Max.
In the
Harley Quinn series, where he does actually settle down, get married, become a stepdad, and a responsible parent.
Oh yeah.
Remember, he had to have who was it? Help him with his son's math homework. That one episode, was it Harley?
Yeah. Because he sat there and said, of all the people, he said, "Oh, I tried calling him Mad Hatter, but he doesn't pick up my calls anymore." I was like, damn. I was your second choice. Who was your
Look, to be fair, it's Common Core math. I don't get it either. I don't remember having to make a sphere grid just to be able to add up 68 plus 28.
Common Core math. Oh, good Lord.
There's nothing common about it.
There's nothing common or logical about that. That was, oh dear God. I'm not gonna get on that rant because I've seen Common Core and I'm just like, I understand why kids don't pay attention to this mess. But no, I remember, in Harley Quinn, he does sit there and say, when Harley says, "I was your second choice, who was your first?" Mad Hatter. He just doesn't pick up my calls anymore. I was like, I mean, yeah, if you're gonna have somebody that's good at calculations, I guess he would be the first call to make, if not the Riddler. But no. But it was interesting though. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, Common Core math. Jesus Christ. But with Night Terrors though, it just like I said, Joker just being sane, and I guess that's really the only way you can tell the story. That's the only way you can tell Joker's story, is that you can't call him crazy. He already is there. So what's next? You make him sane, or you turn him into a superhero, which, well, that was basically White Knight. But anyway, I see you popped up, sir. So whenever you're ready.
All right. So now that we're done complaining about Night Terrors, let's talk about Night Terrors. The first issue came out. This is written by Josh Williamson with art by Howard Porter and colors by Anderson. Let me see if I can't pull it up. No, I just pulled up the list again so he can complain even more. Basically, they have a new villain, which is basically a spin-off version of another villain. who is invading the superheroes' dreams, forcing them to sleep and have horrible nightmares to power himself up in another reality where the dreaming is crossing over. I want to know, where is Morpheus in all this, and why has he not put a stop to this?
That's a fair question. But at the same time, it's like you basically sat there and said, okay, the current person doesn't fit for this, but let's bring in something new that does the same thing that said person previously did and expect us to be okay with it.
Okay, so was it Dr. Destiny? No, he's the one with the...
Yeah, the Nightmare Stone. Dr. Destiny is the one with the Nightmare Stone.
Are you sure he's not the one with the Alchemy Stone?
Nope. Dr. Destiny is the one with the Nightmare Stone.
Okay. So basically they make a new version of Dr. Destiny with some dude named Insomnia. Mm-hmm. Really what this is also is really this is a Deadman event.
Yeah.
Which I wish they would have like pushed that out there more, because all I really see is Batman with a giant bat with a gun for her face, or the dude Deadman. And if this was more posted as a Deadman event, I might be more in tune with it. But like,
that's still
Reddit, it was fine. The artwork was a little weird, but Howard Porter has some give or take depending on what they're asking him to do. Like the Howard Porter Flash stuff is fantastic, but like this is a bit more abstract and elusive version of his style.
But a bat with a gun head, though, of all things, I'm sorry, that's the part that sticks with me. I mean, forget the fact of just Deadman apologizing for taking over Batman's body. It's like, look, it's either I save your body or you get ravaged. That's for forgiveness later. Oh, hold up, Joe. Your audio's kind of bad. Nope, still the same. Yep, still bad. I mean, while Joe fixes his audio, though, but First Blood, nope, still bad. Still, though, with First Blood, how can I put this ever so nicely? I don't mind a new, I guess, bad guy, so to speak. But at the same time, guys, it's the whole idea of just, he does the same thing. Now, for all those who don't know, just really quickly, Dr. Destiny was basically a guy who wanted to go after the Justice League, created the Nightmare Stone, which is basically a Freddy Krueger type of device that he basically inhabits the dream world of certain heroes and people and causes havoc. And yet, Insomnia, which is the new one that was created, does the very same freaking thing, except they're looking for the Nightmare Stone, which Dr. Destiny's last words were, he hid this in the dream world of a certain hero. So hence why he's going after everybody. All right, try it again, Jonathan.
Boop.
All right, now you're good.
Yeah, like I said, it's fine. I just don't care. Mm-hmm. I wish this was a smaller event. I really don't have too much to say about it.
It's different. I mean, I'm trying to give it.
Different's not bad, but ultimately this is just fine. I just don't need it to replace the current work going on with it just being this.
Yeah, that I agree with. It should be a one-time event, but I don't think it should halt anything else. But DC's betting big.
Yep. Steelwork number 2. This is written by Michael Dorn with art by Sammy Basiri, Vincentine Cifuentes, and Max Rayner. Colors by Andrew Dollhouse and Matt Herms.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is picking up from stuff. We learned that Jay Nakamura, Superboy's boyfriend, is now working as a personal assistant for John Henry Irons. We get a nice little, by the way, your fiance called. We need this stuff. She wants this wedding stuff done. He's like, yeah, we'll get to it. Yeah, you tell her that. I'm not going to. Meanwhile, Steel is trying to move Metropolis towards a city that does not need the super family, which At first, seems like he wants to get rid of the Superman family. He's trying to make sure that Metropolis is self-sufficient to the point where they don't always need the super family there.
Right.
Meanwhile, Natasha has her own like things going on.
I just thought that was kind of odd because at first when I read that, I was like, "All right, is John Henry pulling a Civil War right now?" He's not really holding him to a standard, but it's like we're not saying you're not needed, but
We're saying we're trying to do things to the point where we don't always need you.
yeah.
Not in a negative way. I love you guys, but at some point we got to be able to pick ourselves up and do this ourselves.
It was just the way it was said. I was like, why did it feel more along the lines of we're just trying to defend ourselves without you? I was like, how I was
I
there.
think he had to clarify himself because I even think the way Dorn made him say it, I think he says like, "Oh no, I don't mean it this way. I mean it this way."
Because I was gonna sit there and say how very Lex Luthor of you. I was like, that sounds like something you expect from Luthor, not actually from John Henry. I'm like, that's different, but okay.
No, Luthor was like, "I can do it better than you." John is like, "No, we need to pick ourselves up."
Yeah, but it's just the way it was. Like you said, it was the way when he understood. He's like, wait. Let me hang on.
Let me clarify some context.
Because it was the way Power Girl was like, so you're saying you don't need us? No. I'm not saying that. Let me. I was like, you can literally hear the backpedaling. Like, let me make sure before y'all decide to before you try to destroy the building. Oh man, but I won't say the villain. I want to call him Flash if you order him from Wish. Because Silver Mist, a person that I know as I'm saying this, it's going to be weird. A villain that can vibrate through objects, but if he stayed within said object, he would become part of said object and be dead. So it's kind of like ordering Flash from Wish, but you only get the vibrate function and not the super speed. I'm not against it because this is a new attempt at creating a new villain. I'm just saying a little bit more originality could have been used. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, we got to remember we're not aiming super high, and this is not a knock at Steel, but we got to remember when Steel had his solo series, the majority, and we said this last time, I think, too, when we talked about Steel, is that Steel only really had one type of villain, and that was drug lords.
Pretty much.
And while the war on drug persists, we're not as worried about neighborhood drug pushing as we used to be, although I think that should still always be in the back of our mind, and we should be conscious about that. But it's not to the point where it was back at that stage in life.
Right.
So we got to come up with new villains. To me, it doesn't scream Flash villain. This screams they took Marvel's version of Ghost and gave him 2 ocular sensors as opposed to 1.
I can see that too.
I mean, this literally looks like the Ghost costume, both from Thunderbolt and Ant-Man 2, just with 2 ocular units as opposed to the Cyclops face mask.
Fair. That's fair.
I still don't get why Tasha is the way she is in this book, but I guess that's the way they want her to be. Like,
I'm not against her being slightly rebellious and being a little bit distrustworthy. I'm not against either of those things. And it's just the fact, like I said, they have her to a certain point. Just don't overdo it. Like
this makes 2 for 2, but by the end of the issue, that John's like, yeah, we don't need to worry about that right now, and she goes down there and immediately gets put out.
True, but that's genuine rebellion, though. Which again, I would really prefer that as far as her being rebellious. So I can't knock her for that.
No, I still dig this. I think Michael Dorn's doing a good job. Bravo to him on coming up with a new villain. The only thing I'm super curious about is why do they keep giving us casualty reports at the end of each issue?
That's a fair point. I just not noticed that. That's a fair point.
By the way, here's a villain from the original Steel issue. He's dead, by the way.
It's almost like it's a retracking of body count.
None of which are Steel's fault, but still, I'm like, why do we keep getting this? Is this going to lead into something?
That's like Body Counts Anonymous. It's
Super
like, hey,
curious.
It's like, hey, we just want to make sure we're keeping up with the dead. Okay. All right.
Okay, sure. Moving on over in indies, we got from Boom Studios, Power Rangers Unlimited, The Coinless. This is written by Adam Cesari.
Close enough.
Okay, I do what I can. I'm just going to go with Moses Hidalgo, doing art, colors by Arthur Haselli. So this is moving into the big Power Rangers event where Rita wins. We see that Draken has gotten back to his universe. However, his universe is about to be invaded by their universe's Dark Spectre, and he must assemble a new team of Rangers. However, he also needs to remember that he is not in charge of this world anymore. Kimberly is. And Kimberly is very, very keeping a very tight leash on Draken because she will not let him become ruler anymore. And Jason is just really handy with a shotgun this episode. Or this issue.
Yeah.
We do see that he does form a new team of Rangers and whatnot. Kimberly is still having some PTSD dealing with Zach. We do see that the new Rangers are Scorpina, Trini, the fallen Blue Omega Ranger who came to this universe with Draken, Kimberly, and Bulk is the new Red Ranger.
That's still weird.
No, that makes kind of sense to me. Bulk being a Ranger is fine. It's not like he's not a Ranger in other multiverses.
True.
He's the Yellow Hyperforce Ranger, I think.
Yeah, he's the Yellow Hyperforce Ranger, yeah.
Yeah, I just like the most effective person against Draken in this universe is Jason with shotgun. We also see that Draken is mildly depowered for a little bit because he can only really morph into his Green Ranger Black Dragon form, Dragon form, and not have immediate access to his White Tiger Black Dragon form. But he eventually gets that power back. But still, it's interesting that we are going to start getting these because we're going to start looking at the multiverse as because everything's multiverse at this point.
Right.
But this has been established before the multiverse craze hit, and we're gathering Ranger teams that are going to be needing to fight Rita once she gains control of the morphing grid. I dug it.
It wasn't bad. It was kind of a slow draw for me, but to finish it, but it wasn't bad.
My biggest thing is at least we find out that the cliche of Scorpina's pregnant with Adam's kid is not something that happens in this book. Thank God. I would have been really upset if they had actually gone with this trope. It's like, oh, she's pregnant with this kid. It's like, that never happened. They didn't know each other long enough for that.
Fair enough, but all the way off and weird. Very weird.
Still, good book leading into things. So if you're going to be interested in what's going on and how this team forms for the upcoming event, this is the book to pick up. Moving over into Marvel, we have Daredevil number 13. This is, where are we? Written by Chip Zdarsky, art by Marco Cicchetto, color by Matthew Wilson. Daredevil is dead after the grueling final duel with the sadistic ninja cult.
Yep.
Again, smashed the fist and left Matt and Elektra, its king and queen. Yada, yada, yada. Matt and Elektra had a thing where Matt purposely lost so he could enter the realm of the dead and save Foggy Nelson and all those trapped in hell, in a hell dimension or possibly hell itself, That one's kind of up for debate. All the souls sacrificed to make the fist a thing and set them free. Meanwhile, Matt is fighting both the demons of both the fist and the hand.
Yeah.
What we are dubbing his holy suit with his horns of righteousness, which are just katanas with holy power imbued in them.
They're lightsabers as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I know. They're just like gray Jedi white sabers.
Pretty much.
Good book. This continues the thing. I didn't think Daredevil would get this weird in demon fighting, but you know what? Not like he hasn't done this before. Not everybody makes it out, and I am unsure if the next issue is the finale or not, because the way the cover was drawn, it's like, this is it, or...
That's what I got from that.
Yeah, it was kind of up in the air for me on that one.
Yeah.
But still, even if it is, we'll probably be ending on a high note, because what can we say about the Zdarsky run? I mean, there's technically no bad run of Daredevil. There's just more memorable than other runs of Daredevil, and this will probably be one of the most remembered arcs of Daredevil since Miller had it.
Yeah, I can see that. And yeah, again, that the whole, I mean, literally going from the crossover with the Punisher, being the hand of the beast, being being the vessel for the beast, to really Captain America and Spider-Man literally trying to reason with Murdoch, and then to cap it all off, to have his father in a Virgil, like kind of like Dante's Inferno kind of thing, with Virgil right beside with his father, and then finding out that the hand and the fist have basically been serving brother and sister of hell. Good to know. That's gonna mess with me for a while. But no, it was good. It was a good issue. I'm like you. I'm just like, where if the next one is going to, if the next issue is going to be the finale, I got questions on how they're going to do it. But we'll see.
Yep. All I know is it's been a good ride, and I'm going to be sad to get off.
But still, lightsabers.
Yep. Next issue is, I need to move you over. Why do you keep popping up? X-Men number 24. This is written by Jerry Duggan with art by Joshua Cassara and colors by Frank Martin. The bad guys capture a Kid Cable. Dr. Stasis wants to kill the Cable, and Moira is like, no, if we kill one Cable, at least 5 more show up, and we can't deal with that many Cables.
Pretty much.
So they have to put the Cable on ice. Meanwhile, the X team is dealing with Pog Pog, who Magic shares a bizarre friendship / rivalry with, who apparently also had mini Pogs in the time between Ten of Swords and now, as they are trying to make a heist of Game World where the X-Men just are trying to chill before the gala. God, I love Forge in this episode. In this issue, where like they're having the horrible fight, and he just goes up to the bar. That was funny. It's like, shouldn't you be helping? I'm getting to that.
He's like, do you have anything that that has a lot of connectivity to it? Shouldn't you be helping them? Yeah, just give me a sec. I was like, that really, I said, that last battle really messed you up, didn't it?
We also take a look at where Jean and Scott stand. They're not in such a bad place as I thought they were. Jean does make a point. It's like, you never went to Morocco. And Scott's like, no, because we got to deal with Earth.
Right.
It's like the moment we put all our cards on the table for Morocco, the humans are going to push us off Earth, and I got to be the one that plants the foot. And Jean kind of understands that. And they kiss and whatnot, and they understand each other's predicament with the new casting of the X-Men coming up at the Hellfire Gala, where they agree. It's like, he's like, look, if I'm not voted on the team next year, I'm out.
Right.
And I really want you with me. And Scott's like, we'll see.
because he does. Because that was the weird dynamic. Because Scott actually does see. I mean, he does appreciate that. Yeah, you create a whole new. You terraform Mars. You create Krakoa. Cool. We still got this problem on Earth. So it's like I didn't think. I mean, I knew it was still going to be a little bit frosty between Gene and Scott, but it wasn't the whole like. It wasn't.
They don't love each other anymore. They're not mad. It's appreciated that this day and age, it's not one of those. Oh, I'm so mad at you. We're not talking about this for several issues. It's like give it 2 issues. Okay, here's what the problem is: A and B.
Yeah.
And I really, really appreciate that they actually took the time to finally sit and talk about it, and that's good. The other thing we have to address is Polaris is still not doing real well with the death of her dad.
No.
She feels like she got put on the X-Men for no reason, and she feels like she's going to be losing her spot with the upcoming thing, and that she'll be forgotten and feel unimportant. And Jean empathizes with her, but Jean's like the great empathizer anyways, but she also knows, like, look, I know what it's like to lose a parent. We all do, but like me specifically, I lost my whole family. So I know what it's like to need to lay in a room for a while, and I understand that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and Polaris is like one of my favorite X-Men. So I like that they're dealing with her feeling misplaced even now. And gets to deal with that and gets to deal with her trauma of losing her father, which he may or may not be back. I have no idea what's going on with that. I don't know if that's Ultimate Magneto that's come back as a result of the Ultimate Invasion, or if Magneto's come back again.
Oh, they said that. Well, he might have came back. They made it seem like he was unrecoverable, like he couldn't be resurrected anymore.
No, because remember, he took himself out of the queue along with Storm.
Yeah.
So, like, he can't be resurrected, but at the end of one of the Scarlet Witch issues, we see Magneto, but also I'm wondering if that's Ultimate Magneto, because the Ultimate Universe is slowly drip feeding back in or not.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the plan is there, but we know like a Magneto is out and about somewhere, and God help if it's Joseph again.
Ticked off Magneto. He had no morals. Yeah.
No. Again, X-Men has been nothing short of fantastic. I love where this is going. I really hate that we're coming to the finish line of the Krakoa era. This is one of those periods of the X-Men where I just want to keep going, because I feel like with the way it is right now, you got stories for years to come, but they're ended on a high note, which I also understand. Because this is probably one of the most memorable eras of the X-Men ever, since the 90s.
Oh, that's a good way to go, though. Why not end on a high note versus otherwise?
I wish all the books had this kind of good writing, because I have no idea what's going on in Marauders, and now I'm just kind of on cruise control with New Mutants, because things. Look, I'll at least call. I'll call a spade, even if I'm very biased in a thing. I'll still say it's like, look, I'm on cruise control at this point. I was on cruise control in Spider-Man until After Dark Web.
You're still gonna be there until Ben gets a fair shake, until Peter or Ben get a fair shake at this point.
No, I've already figured out how they can solve the Ben problem, but that's another day for another story. All they got to do is to say Peter can't do it because his mind will not take the original. He needs a clone. That way they can get Kane back. That's all they got to do.
Yeah, but they won't.
The biggest insult for the whole Ben thing is they literally solve how they give you how they solve it with Jean and Maddie, but they don't address that with Peter. It's like, we have psychics. We can just like do this. I already did it with Maddie.
Fair enough.
That was my whole problem with that book. Is like, you give the answer, but you don't apply it. You solve A and B, but you don't give C the same solution.
Yeah, that is kind of messed up, but that's cool though. But thank you, Joe, for the comic books of the week. We always do want to show love to those that show us love as well. I am talking about, guys, Rick's Comic City. Voted number one in Nashville is the go-to place for comic book store for comic books and mangas and for all great things nerdy and blurty. They do have 2 locations, one in Nashville, Tennessee, as well as Clarksville, of course, with their new endeavor, Locker Nerd, that is at Fort Campbell. So if you are in the Middle Tennessee area, definitely check them out. Let them know we sent you. It doesn't get you discounts, but just let them know we sent you. At the same time, guys, if you are not in the Middle Tennessee area, definitely support your local comic book stores, support your local libraries, as they are the last places to where you can actually get comics, get mangas, animes, and all sorts of multimedia still in your hands. So again, if you're in Nashville, check out Rick's Comic Book City. And if you're not in Nashville, support your local comic books and support your local libraries. With that being said, as we're wrapping this up, Joe, anything you want people to know about, sir?
I'm still streaming Men and Street Fighter 6 on Mondays when I can.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much it right now. It's a lot. Of course, summer convention time where I get like a week off from cons and then another 2 weeks of conventions. I'm kind of glad we're on a movie break with the movie group at the moment. We are not planning to do anything on Barbie.
I would blame
Barbie.
Barbie movie, dear God. But yeah, so yes, but sir, because in case we have those on the Street Fighting variety, sir, what's the handle they can find you under?
You can find me at Joe Italian last name over on Twitch. I will be streaming, I will be winning, I will be losing, but more importantly, I will be learning.
And learning's half the battle. Yeah, Joe taught us that. But
the
yeah,
other half is violence and lasers.
And missing. Like a team shooting missing.
That's not my fault.
But yes, you can catch Joe Italian last name on his Twitch channel as well as his YouTube channel, Total Justice Gaming. You can definitely catch him there. Also, another friend of ours we definitely want to give a shout out to as well because he supports our show. My buddy Vaughn at Big BZA Dot. Big BZA Dot on all social media has a YouTube channel and has free music that he will not ban you on. Thank you, Vaughn, for the music for Get Bit. I'm actually going to be uploading that very soon once I figure out the particulars how to add that to the current intro, but definitely appreciate that. But again, if you want music or looking for music or have music that you want to do for a podcast, for a song, or anything of that nature, definitely check him out. Big BZA Dot on all social media. As for myself, guys, of course, I go by Black Spartan, but again, BlackBox447 on all socials. I usually do reviews on everything that I read, that I play, and gym stuff because sometimes I do a couple push-ups. The banner at the bottom, guys, I'm going to make that a little bit bigger for you guys to see. If you copy and paste this into your browser, it will take you to our Facebook, YouTube link group that has the Facebook, YouTube groups for all of our podcasts. How the Crap We Got Here, Get Bit, and of course, the Offense Podcast. Like, share, and subscribe, folks, as we are everywhere where podcasts can be heard or seen. That is Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Stitcher for the limited time that it's on right now. Anchor, Spotify, Opulence Radio, Always Record TV. We are branching out, ladies and gentlemen. We're trying to make this podcast a great thing, and if it becomes a permanent job, we will not complain. But definitely like us, share us, let people know about us. If you see us in person, shake a hand. We're friendly most of the time. But above all else, let us know what you think about everything that we discussed this evening, as well as your opinions on things that are coming up. And as Joe said, speaking of cons, I will go over this because we are in the middle of con season. And at the same time, I feel like this is be a public service announcement. If you're going to cons, respect all cosplayers. I cannot stress this enough. Respect all cosplayers. Please do not gawk at them. Please do not stare eerily at them. You can go up to them and say, hey, love your cosplay. You can give compliments, but use common sense. If it's something you wouldn't say to your mom, don't say it to another cosplayer, simply put, because it takes a lot of courage to not only make something, buy something, to put it on and go out and enjoy something in public. It takes a ton of courage to do that. So again, respect cosplayers. And if you want a picture of a cosplayer, just be normal and ask. If you ask politely, 9 times out of 10, you'll get exactly what you want. However, again, respect. No means no. Don't goggle. Don't oogle. Don't be a perv. Don't be a dick. Respect all cosplayers. Second rule for cosplaying, guys. You are going to be in public. I can't believe I should be saying this in 2023, but you're going to be in public. Where Joe and I and others, and a lot of our friends who are cosplaying, have been in cons where there's been plenty of room that you could park the Red Sea. There's been plenty of room that you could barely squeeze a Tic Tac into. The point I'm getting to, guys, is wash yourself. Bathe, preferably with soap. Brush your teeth, mouthwash, hygiene, because nobody wants to be next to a person that smells like regrets and last call. Nobody wants that. So again, hygiene is a thing, manners is a thing, respecting cosplayers. That is all I'm asking for folks to do. Aside from yourself, go enjoy a con. I know right now a lot of my friends are in BlurredCon. They're enjoying Fade to Black BlurredCon 2023. So hopefully wishing them well. I'm seeing pictures and whatnot and seeing everybody having fun, and that's a great thing. Other cons, depending on where you are, look them up. A Google search will help. If you've never been to a con, you should highly go to one because, again, it is a fun experience, not only for just me, other like-minded people, meeting fellow nerds, fellow blurs, and the vendors. Because, again, guys, here's a little tip. If you really want something, wait till near the end of the con. The reason why, a lot of vendors don't want to take stuff back, so they will mark down stuff to a certain amount if you really want it. Just throwing a tip out there. That's all I'm saying, because I've seen it done successfully. But yes, go enjoy a con if you can. Take kids, take your friends, take family. Again, enjoy, but respect cosplayers, hygiene, all that good stuff. And again, the Will Wheaton rule: don't be a dick. That's all I'm asking for. But as we wrap this up, guys, we will be back here hopefully next Friday, same Get Bit time, same Get Bit channel. Joe, any last words, sir, before we call it a night?
Nope.
Okay. That's the
I
first.
need to get these contacts out. I know that.
You usually have, like I said, this is the first. You usually have something at the end of this, but this is the first. Joe doesn't have anything. I didn't break this time. It only took 105 episodes.
Yes.
It only took 105 episodes for me not to break near the end of the outro. But with that being said, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Again, we can be found everywhere. Please like, share, and subscribe. He's been Joe. I've been Will. This has been the Get Bit podcast for tonight, everybody. Please take care of yourselves and each other. We'll all get through this. Also, it is freaking hot outside. Please hydrate. Stay inside. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and we will all get through this. See you next time, guys. Peace.